The first night I saw him, I thought he was a ghost. My window faced the apartment's back courtyard, cracked tiles, dying flowers, a single flickering lamp. But what caught my eye wasn't any of that. It was the boy in the basement window across from mine. He stood perfectly still. No expression. Just watching. His face was pale, barely lit by a weak bulb behind him. His hand rested against the glass like he had been there for hours, waiting for someone to notice. For me. I froze, fingers still on the curtain. The way he stared wasn't lustful or creepy. It was desperate. Like he was trying to say something without being heard. I closed my curtain immediately. But when I peeked again, he was still there. Not moving. Not blinking. Just watching. The second night, it got worse. I was brushing my hair in front of the window when I saw a flash, a brief movement in the corner of my vision. I looked up. He was there again. Same place. Same stillness. But this time, he lifted his hand and traced something on the fogged glass. A single word. Run. My stomach dropped. I stepped back from the window so fast I hit my dresser. My phone slipped from my hand. My breath locked in my chest. Run? From what? From who? Everything inside me said to ignore it. He was probably some disturbed guy locked up by strict parents, or addicted, or mentally unwell. This wasn't my business. But the fear crawling under my skin felt too real to dismiss. The third night, he changed everything. I woke up at 2:46 a.m. No reason. Just that cold, prickling feeling that something was wrong. My room felt colder than usual, like every shadow had grown teeth. I turned toward the window. He wasn't staring anymore. He was panicking. His hands slammed against the glass, over and over, silently begging, his eyes wide, terrified, pleading for me to look at him. I stumbled toward the window, heart hammering. He shook his head violently. Pointed to me. Then jerked his finger upward. Toward my room. Like someone was inside. My breath caught in my throat. I turned slowly, terrified to see something standing behind me. But the room was empty. When I faced him again, he was still pointing, still shaking his head, mouth forming silent words I couldn't hear. No, not words. A name. He was mouthing a name. Sam. My blood ran cold. Sam was my landlord. The man who lived directly above me. The man who insisted I was welcome anytime. The man who smiled too long when I handed him my rent. Why would this strange boy in the basement be warning me about him? I pressed my hand to the window, my voice barely above a whisper. What happened to you? His panic stopped. Just for a second. He looked at me with this mixture of relief and sorrow, like he had been waiting forever to hear someone speak to him. Then he stepped back into the dim basement room. And lifted his shirt. I gasped. Bruises. Dark, ugly, fresh. Some looked like fingerprints. Some were shaped like boot marks. Someone was beating him. Someone was keeping him there. But why? As I watched, trembling, he pressed his palm to the glass again, calmer now, and wrote something with his finger. 4 letters. HELP. And then the light behind him went out. He disappeared into the dark. And I made the mistake of whispering aloud. I'll help you. I didn't know someone else was listening. I didn't know that promise was exactly what would ruin me. And I definitely didn't know. He wasn't the only one trapped in this building. I barely slept. Every sound felt amplified, the building creaking, someone's footsteps upstairs, the faint hum of pipes. I kept checking the basement window across the courtyard, hoping the boy would appear again. He didn't. Not until the next night. It was raining when I saw him again, thin streaks of water blurring his silhouette. He looked worse. Exhausted. Haunted. He lifted a shaky hand and pointed upward again. At my ceiling. At Sam's apartment. My landlord. The man with the too sweet smile and the keys to every door. I swallowed hard. Did he do this to you? I whispered through the glass. The boy nodded once. Then he held up something small, a piece of paper taped to the inside of his window. He stepped back so I could read it. He watches you. My heart stopped. Another flash of lightning lit up his face just long enough for me to see how swollen his eye was. How scared he looked. I reached for my phone, my hands shaking, ready to call the police. But when I unlocked the screen, my blood froze. A message was already waiting for me. From Sam. He's lying to you. I dropped the phone. How did he know I was looking at the basement? How did he know anything at all? I felt eyes on me, not from across the courtyard. From inside the building. From upstairs. I backed away from the window, but the boy suddenly slammed his hand against the glass again. He shook his head desperately. Then pointed behind me. I turned slowly. My apartment door, which I know I had locked, was slightly open. Just a crack. My throat tightened. Hello? I whispered, even though I didn't want an answer. Nothing. Only the hum of the hallway light outside. But the boy in the basement was frantic, his palms hitting the glass over and over, silently begging me to move. Lightning flashed again. The light in my apartment flickered. And for a split second, I saw a shadow move in the hallway. I grabbed my jacket and keys, not bothering to take anything else, and ran for the door. I didn't look back at the basement window. Didn't need to. I could feel his fear pushing me forward. The rain hit me like cold needles as I sprinted across the courtyard and down the street. My chest hurt, my mind racing. I didn't stop until I reached the gas station near the main road. The attendant stared at me like I was insane, drenched, shaking, barefoot. Please, I gasped. Call the police. There's a boy in the basement across the street, Anne. He raised an eyebrow. That building, he said slowly. I nodded. He exhaled sharply. There's no one in that basement. No, there is, I insisted. He's trapped. He wrote to me. He shook his head. That basement hasn't been used in years. It's sealed. The old landlord died and they never rented it out again. No one's lived in there since before your building was sold. Something cold crept down my spine. That's impossible. He stared at me with pity. Miss, that place was cleared out. Empty. Dark. No electricity. No electricity. But I had seen light. I had seen him. His bruises. His breath fogging the glass. I turned toward the building. It looked like nothing more than a dark shape in the rain. The attendant hesitated, then said quietly. You're the third tenant who's claimed to see something in that basement. All of them left. I felt sick. Did they describe the same boy? His silence was enough. I walked back slowly, my fear shifting into something colder, confusion, disbelief, dread. When I reached the courtyard, I forced myself to look. The basement window was dark. But not empty. A pale hand rested against the glass. Still. Motionless. Just like the first night. I stepped closer. Lightning cracked the sky. The hand slipped away into darkness. That night, I couldn't sleep. Couldn't breathe. My mind kept circling the same question. If the basement was empty. If no one lived there. If no electricity worked down there. What did I see? I turned toward my curtain, slowly, knowing I should not open it. Knowing that if I did, everything in my life might change. My fingers shook as I pulled it aside. The basement window glowed faintly. And he was there. Only this time. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking up. At Sam's apartment. At the window directly above mine. At someone standing in it. Watching me. Lightning lit the sky. And for a split second, I saw Sam's silhouette in the window above, staring down with a smile that didn't belong to any human being. The basement boy's hand pressed to the glass again. One last message. Don't go back inside. And then the light behind him went out. Forever. Because the truth finally hit me. He was never warning me about Sam. He was warning me. From the only place he could still reach me. The place where he died. And now. I was next. If this story kept you on the edge, don't walk away just yet. Like the video, comment your theory, and subscribe. Because more dark stories are coming. Stories you won't forget.